Right into it. All right, welcome, 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 English learners of the entire world, even if you're not watching right now, and especially welcome to you, Mandy, who is watching. And are you ready to unravel the mystery behind some of the most commonly misunderstood English phrases? If so, then grab a seat, get comfortable, prepare to take some notes, because tonight's episode of All About English Live is going to be a good one. I am your host, Dennis Wilborn, and I am very excited to dive into some of the most confusing English phrases. Well, let me share the screen with you. There we go. My picture. There we go. So, some of the most confusing English phrases. Oh no, don't tell me my Wi-Fi is going to die out on me. All right, well let's let the Wi-Fi catch up. Just a second here. All right. All right. So, as I was saying, I am your host, Dennis Wilborn. I'm very excited to dive in to the show tonight. We're going to cover some of the most confusing phrases in the English language. Not a lot, just four. And it doesn't matter if you're an intermediate learner or advanced English learner, this show is perfectly designed. It's the great opportunity to help you sharpen your language skills and gain some valuable insights into the quirks, into the nuances, into all the little strange things that make English such a challenge, but also so much fun. So get ready to have some more fun, learn some new phrases, and be amazed at how quickly you'll be able to master these common English expressions. So don't forget to stick around until the end of the show for our bonus tip, and that will take your English to another level. So are you ready to go? Huh? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you are. All right, let's do this. Jump in with first our first expression, which is, let me get to that slide there, which is barking up the wrong tree. Barking up the wrong tree. We definitely don't want to bark up the wrong tree. We're going to bark up the right tree when it comes to this phrase. We are talking about a phrase that kind of doesn't make sense sometimes. If you've heard it, if this is the first time you're hearing this, you're probably wondering what I'm talking about. If you have heard it before, you probably wondered what the other people were talking about. How can there be a wrong tree and a right tree? Are dogs really that confused, or are they talking about the bark on the outside of the tree? Well, it's not that dogs are confused, although some of them are. This phrase actually means that you are doing something or pursuing something that is really unlikely to be successful. But don't worry, I have a tip to help you understand this phrase to make it crystal clear. The key is to focus on the wrong tree part of the expression. Okay. So just picture in your mind, or look at the picture there. You've got a dog and he's barking up a tree where there is no squirrel. Dogs tend to bark up trees where there are squirrels or other animals. Well, if they're pursuing the wrong thing, meaning the tree with no squirrel, then they're doing it wrong. So next time someone says, "Hey, sorry, you're barking up the wrong tree," you'll know exactly what they mean. So remember, the trick is the wrong tree. Key phrase there. Wrong. Yeah, see, that was easy, right? Super easy, Dennis. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, moving right along. Oh my gosh. Who let the cat out of the bag? So I'm not going to beat around the bush. Beat around the bush. Now, there's a good phrase for you. I'm not going to waste your time here. We all know how curious cats can be. And that's why the phrase, let the cat out of the bag, can be a little confusing. But here's how I'm going to help you understand this commonly misunderstood phrase. So, what does it mean exactly to say, let the cat out of the bag? Well, actually, what it means is to reveal a secret. So, but why is it a cat and a bag? So the tip to understand this phrase is to focus on the secret part. Think of the cat as representing the secret. So picture this. You're hiding a secret. in a bag, and it just happens to be a secret cat. Someone accidentally drops the cat out of the bag. The cat goes screaming, runs across the room. Everybody's surprised. Oh my gosh, you had a cat in your bag the whole time? Suddenly, the secret's out for everyone to see. And that's exactly what this phrase is all about. It means to reveal something that was supposed to be kept hidden. Yeah, so next time you try to carry your purse in with your cat hidden in there, uh, you know, don't let the cat out of the bag. All right. If you hear somebody say that, now you know. It means that they've shared a secret that they probably shouldn't have. Yeah, you kind of hear this a lot when people accidentally share something that maybe they didn't know was a secret. Children do this all the time. Children are notorious for letting the cat out of the bag. So be careful what you say around your kids because they'll tell everybody, even if they don't know if it's a secret. All right. So uh, now, I don't know if you have noticed, but I have started doing some interesting little extras on my shorts on my this YouTube channel. I do shorts every day. I'm sure you've probably seen me tying my tie and giving some advice. Well, now I'm also doing little idiom stories, and that I got the idea for that because of Mandy's request to uh, explain some of these weird idioms that maybe are hard to understand. And I'm sure you might be having a hard time sometimes when you hear people say things that don't make a whole lot of sense. One of the idioms that I shared this week was cutting corners, ting corners. Now, it sounds like arts and crafts, but buckle up because no, I'm not talking about art class. And that's why this phrase can be a little bit confusing. I'm not here saying we're going to cut the corners off your papers. What does it really mean? What it means is that you're doing something quickly without following the proper procedure. But why cut and why corners? So the tip for understanding the phrase is to focus on the shortcut part. Think of someone who's taking a risky or a dangerous shortcut on a racetrack by cutting across the corner. As you can see, these motorcycle guys are not taking a shortcut, but they're almost taking a shortcut. They're pretty close to that edge. So imagine that you're in a race, you're following behind, so you decide to take a shortcut by cutting across a corner. Sure, you might save some time, but it's risky. It could result in a dangerous accident. Somebody might get hurt. So that's why cutting corners means you're taking a risk. You're making a dangerous shortcut to save time or effort. Usually, it means that you're really lowering the quality of something because you're taking a shortcut. Anyway, remember, when it comes to things that are very important and stuff you're doing for your clients and for your customers, don't cut corners. So, and if you hear someone using the phrase, now you'll know what they mean. Yeah, be sure you're not cutting corners when you're studying your English or when you're talking to people who are customers. Safety first. All right. And the next one, you may have heard this expression before. The ball is in your court. The ball is in your court. I don't know. Have you heard it before? Raise your hand. This is the fourth of the four phrases that I prepared for today. And of course, if you're ready, I can answer your questions at the end if you have any more phrases you would like me to explain. But this one is very interesting. I probably should share the slide with you. I just realized I'm not sharing the slides. Okay. So now you can see me again. The ball is in your court. And just in case you didn't see the last one, there's the racetrack on cutting corners. I'm so sorry I left that one out. So remember to cut corners. See, look at me. Here I am cutting corners. I'm trying to do too many things at the same time. All right. The ball is in your court. What does this phrase mean? If you've heard it, um, it is commonly misunderstood because sometimes people think we're talking about sports, but this actually has nothing to do with sports. It's not at all regarding the actual sport. What it means is that it's someone else's turn to take action or make a decision. that that decision doesn't rest with me anymore. That is your decision, or that's your turn to speak, or it's your decision to make. So imagine that you're playing a game of tennis and you hit your ball to the other side. The ball is now in their court and they have to hit it back to you, and now the ball is in your court again. So the tip to understanding the phrase is to focus on your court. That's the part of the phrase to remember. Your court. So when the ball is in your court, you have control over what happens next. Okay. So don't drop the ball and get ready because we're coming up on our bonus tip. Okay. Just so you know, it is possible for you to say, listen, the ball's in my court now. Okay. If it's your turn to make the decision, you can say, you've had your turn. The ball's in my court now. Okay. Don't be afraid to stand up for your turn to speak. Okay. Are you ready for the bonus tip? We've talked about some confusing phrases. I don't know. You let me know. Were these phrases confusing? Did I do a good job of choosing the confusing phrases, or do you have phrases that are more confusing? So, if you come across one and you're listening to someone in a conversation, maybe you're listening to a podcast, maybe you're having an actual conversation and you're in a meeting or something like that, I'm going to give you a couple of tips. The first tip is, if you're listening to a podcast or reading an article, pick yourself up an English language learners dictionary. You can find them online. You can find them a number of many places. And if you need a link for that, just let me know. I'll give you a link where you can find one pretty easily. You can also find the definitions in that dictionary, and they'll use the phrase in a sentence. You can also look it up on the internet. Just do a quick Google search, or take out your phone and just, I'm going to search on my phone. And you'll be surprised. Make sure after you type in the phrase, put it in quotation marks and type in the word meaning or definition. You'll be surprised how quickly you can find the information you need on the internet these days. There are so many search engines that you can do, and that's really the best way to find out if you're not in a conversation. Now, if you are in a conversation, I know it's a little frightening, but this is a really good opportunity for you to break the ice with someone. You can say, huh, that's a very interesting expression. I've never heard that before. Could you tell me what it means? And if you're speaking with a native speaker, maybe they can tell you exactly what it means. Uh, if you're not speaking with a native speaker, then maybe you can use that opportunity to look it up together, because they may know what it means in the context, but they may not know how to use it, or what the origin is. I'm kind of a word nerd. I like to look up origins of different words from time to time. So, all right, that is a wrap for today. I want to say thank you very much for joining me. And, oh, excuse me, a little dry throat today. And I hope you enjoyed learning about these commonly misunderstood English phrases. And hopefully the tips that I gave you will help you better remember them in the future. So remember, improving your English skills, it takes time, it takes practice, it takes patience, but you can achieve fluency if you're dedicated and you're using the right resources. The right resources can be books and the internet. You can use apps on your phone, but you really can't beat conversations and practicing your speaking. So if you want to really improve your skills, practice speaking. You can join me one-on-one on Amazing Talker. There's a link down below in the description of this video, and I'll tag one in the comments a little bit later. Okay. Don't be afraid to ask questions, make mistakes, keep on learning. And you can always join me here every single day of the week for a short video. You'll get some interesting phrases used in context. That's why I call them idiom stories. Also, you get some tips and advice with my Thai talks, and I'll be throwing a few new things in there as we progress. So, and don't forget, join me next week on Saturday night for another exciting, interesting, maybe a little bit funny episode of All About English Live. Until then,